SEO is AEO. Welcome to the show, Ahmed Khalifa.
Pretty good, actually. Yeah, that's quite a nice intro.
Thank you.
People should do that more often, right? Yep.
Yeah, but the shame was I actually had to read it, which is
I don't blame you for that happening. It's not a problem for me.
Thank you. Lovely to meet you. I believe you started your career in Brighton.
Kind of, but I did have a agency experience in Worthing.
Oh, right, okay.
So I lived there for like a year, did agency work, but I did a few things building up to it. But then from then onward, it just kind of like, kept on going.
Okay.
The momentum.
And you worked for a company called Fresh Egg at one point.
Yeah, at that
which
time.
my first thought when I saw Fresh Egg was rotten egg.
My first thought was some kind of farm or something. That was, I was thinking that, but it's a genuine thing.
Okay.
And that was that's back about 7 or 8 years ago now, so it's been a while.
Okay, and yeah, right. Brilliant stuff. So the key question for us today is video. You were talking about that earlier on. Shamefully, I didn't see your talk, but you gave me a quick idea of what it was all about. Mm-hmm. Captions on videos and how rubbish they can be when they're auto-generated on YouTube.
Yep. And
people leave them idiotically.
Pretty much. They don't give it a second thought.
Yeah, and you were telling me why that's particularly interesting for you.
Well, I mean, if I'm going to go from my personal experience, is that I depend on Caption because I'm deaf. And I depend on Caption just to access videos. Yeah. But then even if it's not just from me, it can be for also people who are not, English is not their first language. Yep. They're learning the language. It could be some kind of learning disability. They need Caption to keep up. Mm-hmm. It could be, attention deficit disorder. It could be even, for most of us, or a lot of us, watch a video in silence because you want to, you maybe you're in a public transport, or maybe you're in a library, or you maybe whatever, and you just want to watch the video in silence. Yeah,
or it could be that the person speaking has a really, really thick Glaswegian accent like Craig Campbell.
That is one thing that I've mentioned in the talk. Is I had an example of Kevin Bridges, the comedian.
Okay.
He's from Glasgow, and the auto-caption struggled to get it right. And it's so interesting what they came up with because of that strong Glaswegian accent, as you say, like Craig Campbell, and he's, proper
brilliant
Glaswegian.
Stuff.
So that can affect you.
That leads us really neatly onto the idea, and people are talking about it more and more in this industry, of if you make a video, do the transcript, stick it on your site, then you get both the text that somebody like, I prefer reading to watching videos in general. Mm-hmm. Is that a great strategy moving forward?
It is. I mean, it's a way for you to target both YouTube search and web search. They're two separate things. Mm-hmm. So if you have a captions and you've done it correctly, you've done all the editing, and it looks clean and accurate and correct, great. YouTube will be able to understand better what that video is about. It's not full of mistakes. So that's YouTube search. Yeah. But then you can use the same thing, caption, you can convert it or order it into transcript, and that can be your blog post. And you put that in there, get it heading nicely, you can embed the same video. So then you target the web search as well. So you may as well, with that one video, you can target both web search and YouTube search.
And I suppose if somebody exported the auto subtitling thingy, whatever it's called, I can't remember, and put it on a page, they would read it and they would think, yes, I do look stupid.
You'd be surprised. I think more often than not, if you ever export anything that's been auto-generated and you read it, it's not possible to read it.
Yeah, I tried doing auto text for the podcast using Google's text language analysis thing, and it was just rubbish. I gave up.
It's not there for like a complete, you're replacing people who do it manually. It's there to help you. You can get a head start. And then once you get a head start, you got that ready for you, then you can do the editing manually. So it will save you some time doing it word by word, manually, stopping, type it in, play, listen, stopping. That's going to take forever. Although the experts out there, they can do it quite quickly.
Oh, right, really? Can they do it in more or less real time?
They can more or less, yeah.
I've got a mate who does subtitles, English subtitles, French films, and he says, I've just remembered, he said I more or less type it in real time.
People can do that. It's quite impressive.
Because, but you must be typing something slightly after you've heard it and still trying to listen.
And not only you're typing what the person is saying, you may have to put in, like, for example, loud noise or someone, explosion in the background, a car crash or whatever. So it's not just about what person said, it's about the sound effect.
Okay.
So that person will also have to think about that. It's like, sentence end, new line, car crash, whatever.
Yeah, and YouTube auto thingy-bob doesn't do that.
No, it doesn't.
So you've got no idea if there's been a crash in the background?
Not at all. And that was one of the arguments I did in the talk I did today was some people, for example, if there's a background noise, which is wind, and you're in a room, that could mean anything. It could be there's a wind outside, very windy day. It could be there's a wind noise coming from a TV. It could be a wind noise, something that you plugged in your camcorder and playing out TV. It could be wind noise down the chimney, coming out of the fireplace.
And
you just don't know.
Context.
Yes.
So we're moving straight into context.
That's why I talk about a lot. It's about context. You have to provide context, not just about content, but it's context as well.
Yeah.
And that's the whole point of captioning. It's not just about hearing what people say. It's to really understand the emotion, the story, the context of that video.
Oh, that's brilliant. Yeah, so it's not just the words we're saying, it's the context in which it is, and I think kind of when you watch subtitled films, which I live in France, you get quite a lot of subtitled films, and you see all these kind of, don't know if it's stage directions, descriptions of what's going on.
I have no idea how it works. I mean, it's one of the most common things people say is like, oh, I hate subtitles, I don't really watch it. But for some reason, it's okay for them when it's a foreign film. I was like, okay, well, it's kind of a similar concept. Because if you can accept it in a foreign film, then why can't you accept it in your spoken language?
And I would imagine that one of the things that stops brands doing the subtitles themselves is cost.
That's one element, yep.
And that's a false economy.
It's very false because there are very cheap ways of doing it. There are services, first of all, you can do it for free. You can upload your video on YouTube and it's been auto-generated, and then you edit it.
Yep.
That's free. There are services out there where it's an AI machine does it for you for 10 cents a minute.
Can I just ask a quick question?
Yeah.
The services with AI machines doing it for 10 cents a minute, are they better than YouTube?
Very similar. I couldn't tell the difference.
Oh, okay.
So
YouTube are pretty good within their field.
It's not bad.
But just not good enough for humans.
I just can't see robots replacing humans in terms of being able to interpret emotions and context. How can you expect them to do all the sound effect correctly? I just can't see that.
I like the idea of emotions because as well the words you're using oh no, that's completely the wrong idea. I was thinking about translations. I was getting very confused.
Translation, interpretation, it's like it's someone who overlaps there.
Is there?
But yeah, it can be because...
Oh, help me sound intelligent.
Oh God, I can't do that.
So the idea that there's overlaps between translations and the subtitles.
Interpreting, people interpret what one person said to another, or translation, one person to another.
That was my point. I've just remembered it. Is in fact when you're doing the subtitles, you can simplify it.
You could do.
People don't do that. Because, sorry, what I'm thinking is when I did do the transcripts for this podcast, first thing I did was cut out stuff because it doesn't read. And I had to change the sentences slightly so that it reads better. Is that a bad idea for subtitles?
I think it is a good idea to do that for transcripts.
But not for subtitles?
Not for video subtitles, no. I think because when you read it, you don't really want to read too much of the all these things. That's not really any point. Even to some extent, you don't want to do too much of that in the subtitles. I'll put it in, but you don't have to go overboard. You put a few of it in there. Because one of the point I made in the talk was about caption must be true verbatim. So if that person stuttered a sentence, like I don't know, I put that in.
Oh right, okay.
You do put that in because that is you understanding that person not getting the message out there. Whereas if you read it as someone said it cleanly, then it's completely different to what that person said.
Brilliant.
But even in transcript, you might want to put that in as well. Maybe not as much like, maybe you don't want to go like for a long time. You don't want to do that. But I do agree that what I like to do, I think it's important, is the way people read captions or subtitles is different to the way people read transcripts.
Yeah, so we've actually ended up with 3 levels. We've got the video with the sound, the audio, we've got the captions, and then we've got the transcript. Yeah. It's basically 3 different versions of the same thing.
Yeah, kind of stack on top of each other. And you've got, you're talking about is it a good thing or not, but it's great because you've given people the option either to watch it on video or to read it on transcript. You said you prefer to read over watching it on video. So you want to do the same thing like you do for any blog post, for example. Yeah. Get the headings, get the paragraphs like that. Don't leave it on one big chunk of text and just throw it on the blog and that's it. You want to make an effort to make it easy to read.
Yeah, and also easy to digest for Google, because then you come back to this idea of when you've got the transcript in your page, Google sees the video, it sees the transcript, it can digest the transcript much more easily, much more cheaply. Yeah. And I think people forget that there is a question of resources that cost Google money to analyze that video. It gets the transcripts wrong, which implies that it's misunderstood at least parts of the video, and the transcript will actually set it right.
Well, it is true in the sense that Google has to work extra hard to understand what that content is about, that page. So even if you have everything in there, but if it's not correct, it's going to struggle to understand what that page is about. So that's why accuracy is important. And I've mentioned the fact that auto-captioning, on average, 1 in 3 words are wrong.
1 in 3?
1 in 3, on average. So apparently it's between 60 and 80, right, percent of the words are correct.
But that also depends on the very strong Glaswegian.
Well, I mean, if you're a Glaswegian, then let's make it 2 in 3 or something. I don't know. It's just the accent's a big point. You can't expect everyone to understand that.
Yeah, I mean, and from my point of view, I think I've got a neutral accent, but people have told me it's not true. And in fact, Google has quite a lot of trouble understanding me when I was doing the transcription. I think even a slight accent becomes a problem.
I think so.
And Google's also US-centric, American accent-centric, no?
Well, they do have options. When I've seen it, they do read different languages. So when you go to YouTube and you upload it, you can see, say, English UK, English US, English Australian, Canada, whatever. So I don't know if it's true or not, but I'm assuming that they're able to differentiate at least the text format. But they're not going to be able to understand it when they hear it. They can't do that. I mean, maybe in the future, one day, maybe. But right now, they can't. Yeah. And even for me, I've got like various accents. So it's like, for them, it's a nightmare. And I know every time I have anything like transcribed or captioned, I have to check it.
Yeah,
I have to check it every time. So accent is a big one as well.
Yeah, okay. And so moving on to for me, the next topic, which is the idea of video as a content source. Content in video is becoming more and more important.
Sure.
And talking to Gary Ilias about kind of what he's interested in right now, it's images and video.
Right, yeah.
He's completely obsessed by it, and I think that's a signal to us all that, blog posts are maybe dying out. And what I've been looking at is the idea of the blue links is basically a blog post is competing for the blue links, but video can come in as a rich element.
It can, yeah.
So video strategy.
I am an advocate of videos, not only because of SEO, but it just makes my website more human, because I put my face on there.
Brilliant, yeah.
So, yeah, I'll talk about caption, SEO benefits, here it is, but there are many other benefits. Videos is the same thing. I mean, yes, everyone's jumping on a bandwagon, rightly so, because it is a big thing, and it's like, I did that as well. I'm like, okay, you know what, I need to take it seriously. Just bite your tongue and do it. But as well as SEO and doing all the things like making your page have the images, the text, the headings, all these things, and making it like a multimedia page, video plays a part. But for me, it's also part of like my sales funnel, because if I want to talk about a topic and they can see my face and I kind of like invite them in, I talk to them in person, that's more powerful, I think, than reading the text. So if you can talk to them face to face like that in the video, I think you can really connect with the audience a lot better than just depending on blog posts. I mean, don't get me wrong, there are people who write amazingly well and they can connect amazingly well with just blog posts. But I think there's something about videos that you just can't replicate by writing. You
connect to your audience, you give a face to your brand, which is incredibly important. One thing I've kind of been talking to my clients about is saying, don't just have one face for your brand, because if that person leaves your company, your face is gone. So if you've got 3, maybe, and then if one leaves, you replace them with somebody else, and the effect is a lot less.
Have different people. I mean, that way you can get to know more people.
Yeah.
It's like, oh, this person does this why not? If you are a solopreneur, fair enough, it's only you.
Yeah.
But if you are, if you have multiple businesses, you have experts in different fields, why not have different people talking?
Yeah, and all that comes down to the EAT idea, is being an expert or an authority in a specific domain. If you've got a site or a brand that covers several different domains, you need several experts, and the same would be true of video.
Same with video, because you can't just get like a person who is in SEO to talk in the same level as a person who is a developer. It's 2 different computer languages, 2 different contexts, You can't ask someone to just pretend to be a developer on video. People want, they want, they won't let us slide. They can see through that.
Yeah.
Because people are getting smarter. If people are getting smarter, like, you can't fake it online as much as you can do maybe 20, 30 years ago.
Yeah.
And I think videos can add a level of honesty and transparency and make you more trustworthy when you actually talk to people in a video like that. So that's why it's kind of becoming a big thing for me now.
That's lovely. And also kind of the fact that people interact with the video on YouTube or on those, like with likes and shares and so on and so forth, is a signal that people are actually interested in your brand. And the other thing is, if you've got this kind of the video boxes on your brand SERPs, that's a really strong signal both to your users that you've got a face, you've got a message.
The brand, the entity, the entity is the big one, isn't it? Because then Google will understand more and more about who you are as a person, brand, whatever it is, whatever your preferred entity.
Yeah.
That's been discussed today a few times in Brighton SEO about, Google looks at entity more and more now.
Yeah.
And they're able to understand, okay, this website is that entity.
Yep.
And then you get to understand that person, that brand a bit more. And, content help with that. You can't do that without content.
Yeah. And I mean, the other thing is, as well about videos, I mean, kind of writing a blog post, let's say that takes 8 hours. If I do a video and just record myself saying more or less what I would have written anyway, it takes me, let's say, an hour and then a couple of hours to clean it up. It's much quicker.
It can be. People think that, it takes forever. I think it's because they aim for perfection. And think, I'll do it again. Oh, I'll record it, I'll do it again. I'll delete it. And that's the problem. It's like, don't keep doing that.
No.
First of all, if you want to practice basic editing, you can do that. Add a bit of a, like a jump from one scene to another kind of thing. That makes it easier. But I know some people out there who write their blog posts just by speaking into their online dictaphone or whatever.
I tried that the other day.
And in some posts, I think that can work. In some other type of content, I'm not sure. So for like a guide to, I'm trying to think of an example, how to install Google Analytics on your site. To say that, I think it's a bit tricky because you need to see everything, you need to see where to go, you need to images, all these things. You can do it after it. But if you're going to tell a story about something, record it on video or record it on audio. You can do it in like 5 minutes.
And also you're saying kind of people are kind of scared to put themselves on camera because they might look ugly. And the idea that you have to be incredibly professional. And I was talking to Anders Hjort about the idea of doing, he's using a cell phone and he just records himself 2 minutes every day to promote his business.
That's all you need. I started with my smartphone.
All right. Sorry, I don't even know what you do in video.
Well, I talk about a lot about WordPress SEO, but nowadays I talk more about depth awareness. So that's been my main topic on YouTube.
And you make videos.
Yeah.
That you post up for spreading awareness?
It's awareness, it's branding, it's to learn how to use videos, it's to learn how to communicate, it's to learn how to use video to your advantage in your business, personal branding. There's so many benefits of videos.
Yeah.
So many benefits.
But I get the feeling kind of the SEO, at the moment we're all talking about entities.
Yeah.
We're now kind of going to move, I think people, I've started saying to my clients, you want to do a blog, why? And the answer is because that's how it works. We do blogs, and we get one of it. And you say, well, do a video, and you've got a chance to actually get some rich content, get your message out there, and get one of the rich elements in the search.
Yeah, I think people overemphasize too much on, like, it has to be 100% professional video.
Oh, yeah.
When you look at, like, anybody online, any influencer, any YouTube creator, big names out there, if you ever look at their earlier videos, you'll be shocked. You think that they actually did that. But they got started with a smartphone or one of these simple pocket camera or whatever, and they got better and better and better. And that's the thing, I think you have to get started. What's my best advice? Get started. Because that's the only way you can get better.
Well, and the idea, if I was a big brand, or a decent-sized brand, you're saying, I can't be unprofessional, I have to have this professional image. And I actually bought, I've got a reflex camera, a Sony camera, absolutely amazing image.
Yep.
All the equipment's connected to my computer, plus this sound recorder, which is incredibly good quality. Total cost, 1,500 euros.
These are expensive, yeah.
But I mean, 1,500 euros if you're a decent-sized brand, you're saying you've got professional quality.
Sure.
If you're willing to put the time in to learn how to use it and to do it properly.
it's one thing about having professional quality videos, but
Ah.
well, if you don't have the right content on the video,
Very
that's
good
not
point.
going to work. And also, people underestimate. At least you have, with these equipment. In a lot of cases, audio quality is more important than video quality.
Brilliant. David Bain was saying that. He was saying, because he was saying the 5 stages of podcasting, and he was saying you start with sound, you get the sound
You have
right,
to get that right.
and then you build up to video.
But you can't do that. I started podcasting.
All right.
I do podcasting as well about deaf awareness.
Yeah.
And sometimes I do it at the same time, record and podcast.
Yeah.
But then I record in 2 different ways. Because
Okay.
sometimes the quality of audio for one thing is not great for the other. I just want to have backups. But I've been told so many times, audio quality in videos is more important than the visual quality. Once you get that, then you can get the visual quality right.
So what's important here is this, and Claire, who's sitting behind the camera doing the actual camera work, we don't mind if the quality of the image is bad. But it isn't. It's great, isn't it?
It's great.
No, in fact, big thanks to Claire. She's done a really great job of getting the videos up and working and making all this happen.
Yeah,
so that was a brilliant interview. I really enjoyed talking about that.
Great.
SEO is AEO. Thank you, Ahmed.
I need to get more people doing that.
Thank you.
I love it. Thank you very much. Thanks for having me.
Brilliant.